Did you know that the average person spends about 70% of their waking hours communicating? Yet, research shows that 80% of people struggle with having meaningful conversations. Shocking, right? Most of us think we're good at talking, but in reality, we're not always as effective as we think. What if I told you that with just a few simple changes, you could improve your conversations, connect better with others, and even influence people more easily? The truth is, becoming a great speaker isn't about memorizing big words or having a perfect voice. It's about using a few key strategies that almost anyone can apply. In this guide, we'll uncover the secrets to mastering your communication skills. From listening like a pro, to using body language that speaks louder than words, to learning how to surprise your audience, these strategies will transform your conversations. Ready to take your speaking skills to the next level? Let's dive in. Chapter 1: The Power of Listening. Speak less, listen more. Have you ever been in a conversation where the other person barely lets you speak? It's frustrating, right? Turns out, the best speakers don't just focus on their words. They listen first. Active listening is key to great communication. According to a study by the International Listening Association, we spend 45% of our waking hours listening. Yet, only 25% of what we hear is retained. That's a huge gap. So, how can you turn this around? Start by truly focusing on what the other person is saying. Put away distractions like your phone and make eye contact. Give verbal cues like, aha, or, I see, showing you're engaged. This lets the other person know you care about their perspective. Listening actively also helps you pick up on emotional cues that will guide your response. Understanding how someone feels allows you to tailor your reply in a way that resonates with them. One way to improve listening is through paraphrasing. Repeat back what you've heard in your own words, like, so, you're saying, or, if I understand you correctly. This simple trick not only shows that you're listening, but it also clarifies any potential misunderstandings before they become bigger issues. Another tip? Ask open-ended questions. Questions like, what happened next, or, how did it make you feel, keep the conversation flowing and show that you're invested in the exchange. Active listening builds trust and creates a deeper connection, two essential ingredients for becoming a great speaker. Chapter 2: Mirror, Mirror, the body language boost. Imagine speaking to someone whose posture is closed off, arms crossed, looking at the ground, barely making eye contact. You'd probably feel disconnected, right? Body language is often more powerful than words. In fact, research by UCLA shows that 55% of communication is nonverbal. That means how you carry yourself plays a massive role in how your message is received. Start by being aware of your own body language. Stand tall with your shoulders back. This not only makes you appear more confident, but it also helps you feel more confident. Studies show that body posture affects your emotions. Adopting a power pose, like standing with your hands on your hips, can actually boost your self-esteem. And confidence is contagious. When you project it, others start to feel it too. Eye contact is another powerful tool. When you make eye contact, it signals interest and respect. But don't overdo it. Too much can be intimidating. Aim for the triangle method, where you make eye contact for 2-3 seconds, then glance at the person's forehead or mouth, before returning to their eyes. This keeps the conversation natural while showing you're engaged. Your gestures also matter. Open, expansive gestures invite trust and warmth. Keep your hands visible, and try not to hide them in your pockets or clasp them tightly. Research suggests that people are more likely to trust speakers who use open hand gestures. Mirroring is another technique you can use. This involves subtly matching the other person's posture or gestures. Mirroring builds rapport and makes others feel more comfortable around you. It's a strategy used by some of the best negotiators and public speakers. Chapter 3: The pause that powers your words. In a world of fast-paced conversations, it's easy to rush through your words. But here's a secret: the most impactful speakers don't talk faster, they know when to pause. Pausing is a powerful tool that can elevate your communication. It's not just about creating space in the conversation, it's about giving your words weight and impact. Pausing lets your message sink in. Have you ever noticed how after a well-timed pause, people suddenly lean in or pay closer attention? That's because a pause creates anticipation, and anticipation makes people more eager to hear what you'll say next. It allows the other person to process your words and reflect on their meaning. In fact, research shows that pauses improve retention. When you give your listener a moment to think, they are more likely to remember what you said. Studies from the University of Wisconsin found that students who were exposed to pauses in lectures had better recall of the information. This means if you want to leave a lasting impression, use pauses strategically. Pauses also help you control the pace of the conversation. By slowing down, you demonstrate confidence. You give yourself time to think and choose your words carefully. Rushed speech, on the other hand, often comes across as uncertain or panicked. Speaking slowly, with well-placed pauses, conveys authority and calm. But how do you use pauses effectively? Start by incorporating short pauses between key points. When making an important statement, pause for 2–3 seconds before continuing. This gives the listener time to absorb what you've said. During conversations, if you sense that someone is about to interrupt, try pausing for just a second longer. It gives you the upper hand, allowing you to finish your thought uninterrupted. The pause also works wonders in public speaking. It's a common strategy among top speakers. Martin Luther King Jr., for example, used pauses during his "I Have a Dream" speech to let his words resonate with the audience. These pauses heightened the emotional impact of his words, making them unforgettable. Remember, silence doesn't mean you've lost your train of thought. It's a strategic tool to enhance your message. So, next time you're in a conversation or speaking in front of an audience, embrace the pause. It might just be the secret ingredient to make your words more powerful. If you're enjoying these tips so far, don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you never miss out on more communication strategies that will transform your conversations. Chapter 4. Elevate your vocabulary, the art of wordplay. Let's face it, we all fall into the trap of using the same words over and over. But if you want to be a great speaker, variety is key. Expanding your vocabulary can transform your conversations from basic to brilliant. It's not about using complex or obscure words, it's about choosing the right words that make your message clearer and more engaging. Research by the National Institute of Health shows that a larger vocabulary is linked to better communication skills and higher cognitive function. So, the more words you have at your disposal, the better you can express yourself. This doesn't mean you need to start using thesaurus-level words, though. It's about selecting the perfect word for each moment. Start small by replacing common words with more specific ones. For example, instead of always saying good, try outstanding, impressive, or remarkable. You'll quickly notice how your conversations become more vibrant. In fact, research shows that people who use more precise language are perceived as more intelligent and articulate. Another trick? Use metaphors and analogies. These comparisons help people visualize your ideas. For example, when explaining a complex idea, you might say, "It's like trying to untangle a bunch of cords." This simple image instantly makes your point clearer. Great speakers like Steve Jobs were known for using analogies to break down difficult topics into digestible bits. Additionally, don't forget about storytelling. When you weave your words into stories, you make them more relatable. Narratives naturally draw people in, and research by the Stanford Graduate School of Business found that stories activate more areas of the brain than just facts alone. By using rich, colorful language, you don't just inform your audience, you captivate them. Chapter 5. Emotion over logic. Speak to the heart, not just the head. While logic is important, emotion is often the real driving force behind great communication. Emotional intelligence, EQ, plays a massive role in how we connect with others. Studies have shown that people with high EQ are not only better at understanding others but also more persuasive in their conversations. To improve your emotional connection, start by listening for the emotional cues in the conversation. Pay attention to the speaker's tone of voice, body language, and choice of words. For example, when someone says, "I'm really stressed about this," their words alone give you clues. You can respond with empathy, saying, "I understand, that sounds really tough." This emotional validation makes people feel heard and respected. Speaking from the heart requires vulnerability, which is something many people shy away from. However, vulnerability strengthens relationships. Brené Brown, a leading researcher on vulnerability, explains that vulnerability is not winning or losing, it's having the courage to show up and be seen when we have no control over the outcome. When you share personal stories or express your emotions, you invite others to do the same, creating a deeper bond. You can also use emotions to persuade. Research by neuroscientist Antonio Damasio shows that people make decisions based on emotions, not logic. For example, when trying to inspire action, don't just state the facts, connect emotionally. If you're motivating a team, instead of saying, "Our goals are achievable," you might say, "This team has the heart and drive to overcome any challenge." Emotion fuels action in a way that logic alone doesn't. To really connect emotionally, practice empathy. Try to imagine what the other person is feeling. This doesn't mean you have to agree with them, but acknowledging their emotions builds trust. When people feel understood, they're more likely to listen to your point of view. Chapter 6, The Art of the Unexpected. Surprising your audience. Surprise is a powerful tool in conversation. People love the unexpected, it keeps them engaged and interested. If you want your conversations to be memorable, learn how to throw in a twist or two. One of the best ways to surprise your audience is through humor. Humor has been shown to release dopamine, the feel-good chemical in the brain. Studies from the Mayo Clinic have even suggested that humor can reduce stress and improve overall health. So, don't be afraid to add a little wit or a clever remark into your dialogue. A well-placed joke can change the tone of a conversation and make you more approachable. Another way to surprise people is by offering an unconventional opinion or perspective. When you share a unique viewpoint, it makes people stop and think. This doesn't mean you have to argue for the sake of arguing, but presenting an unexpected idea challenges people's thinking. According to a study from the Journal of Experimental Social Psychology, when people encounter novel ideas, it sparks creativity and deeper engagement. You can also surprise people with your level of knowledge. In conversations, it's tempting to play it safe and stay in familiar territory. But by researching topics that interest you, you can introduce fresh facts or ideas that no one expects. Imagine discussing a subject in depth that no one else knows about. It makes you stand out as someone who is knowledgeable and interesting. Similarly, timing can add an element of surprise. Pausing before making a statement, or suddenly changing the direction of a conversation, can catch your audience off guard. People are more likely to remember your words if you've surprised them in some way. This strategy is often used by great public speakers like Barack Obama, who would pause before key points to build suspense and focus attention. Finally, don't forget about personal stories. Sharing something unexpected about yourself, whether it's a funny mishap or a meaningful experience, makes you more relatable and authentic. When people are surprised by your openness or vulnerability, they're more likely to connect with you on a deeper level.